Two-way, three-way, mixing, diverting, normally open, normally closed. What in the heck am I talking about? Well, if you're an HVAC technician or involved in HVAC controls at all, you know I'm talking about control valves. But you might not know what all these terms mean. By the end of this video, you will. Hi, this is Eric Stromquist with ControlTrends.com and Stromquist.com. Stromquist has been an HVAC and smart building controls distributor for over 60 years. We've literally sold thousands and thousands of HVAC control valves. So we know a few things about valves because we've sold a lot of them and we've seen a lot of them. This video, you're going to learn the basics of two-way and three-way valves and how they apply to your job. So watch it all the way through and hit that subscribe button.
The following is a presentation of the Control Trends Podcasting Network.
Okay, let's look at how a two-way valve works. Now keep in mind, you're usually going to see two-way valves where it's not a constant flow. But if you look at the diagram, and in this particular case, it's actually a globe valve, you'll notice that the stem goes either up or down to open or close, and the flow is straight through, okay, typically to a coil. Typically, the two-way valve, as you'd see it in the air handling unit situation, your flow is not necessarily going all the time. And keep in mind with two-way valves, sometimes they're just on-off. But in the case of a two-way valve with an air handling unit, like going to the coil here, they typically do some sort of control. So if you're interested in learning about the different control signals from on-off to modulating to pulse width modulation, go to the comments and type in control, and I'll create a video for you showing the different types of control you can have with your valve. But as you can see with this two-way valve, it's either open or closed, and then we get into something called normally open or normally closed. Term you're going to see a lot is NO or NC. So NO means normally open, and NC means normally closed. It's pretty simple. What that basically means, if you have no power on the actuator, do you want the valve to be open? Do you want it to fail open? Or if it's NC, do you want to have it fail closed? A lot of times in heating systems, you'll want it to fail normally open because you don't want your coils to freeze should you lose power. We see three-way valves in HVAC systems primarily on constant flow systems. So there are two types of three-way valves. There's a mixing valve, or sometimes called a blending valve, which has two inputs and one output, or a diverting valve, which has one input and two outputs. So with the diverting valve, you're coming in one port and you can go out one of the, you go out either or in terms of the ports, where with the mixing valves, you can have two inputs and one output. Here's your mixing valve right here, and you can see you're coming in A or B, and you're coming out AB. A or B and out AB. All right, as you can see, as this thing lifts up, the actuator pulls up, you're going to go from this port to this port out this way as the actuator lifts up. As it goes down, you're going to go straight through the pattern, as you can see here. Now you're going from here out here, and anywhere in between, you're actually mixing or blending. So here's your diverting valve, okay? So here's your AB port right here. Here's your B port, and you go through A here. So as you can see, but this particular valve's designation, your flow is going to either go here or it's going to go here. Okay, one in, two outs. Okay, and as you can see, as this pulls up, now you're going from here through here. As the actuator pushes down, you're going from here to here. Here is a typical diverting valve application you might see, maybe going to a fan coil unit. Although you would not be using a globe valve for that, you most likely be using a ball valve, a characterized ball valve. So if you're interested in hearing about the different types of valves that you can use in HVAC, reach out in comments and just say valves, and I'll make a video talking about the different types of valves. So as you can see here, we got one inlet, and we can either go outlet to the coil or we can bypass the coil. And our outlet to the coil is normally closed, which basically means that unless we're calling for cooling, this is most likely cooling, the valve is going to bypass and go around the coil. Using an example of using the mixing valve, and you can see this is actually piped on the return this time, and you can see you are normally closed to the inlet on the outlet side of the coil, or you can go normally closed on the inlet side. So you're either passing water through the coil or you're bypassing it. And a little tip is typically the mixing valves, as you can see from the valve bodies I showed you, are typically less expensive. So that's a trick. If you can put it on the return side, you can use a mixing valve, which is typically less expensive. Now, if you were to put it on the supply side of the coil, you might be mixing like warm and cold water together, and it becomes more of a blending type application. Okay, there you have it, HVAC Control Superstar. Now you know the difference between two-way and three-way valves, mixing and diverting, normally open, normally closed. Hey, for our YouTube listeners, please hit us up in comments. Please subscribe to the channel. Please hit us up in comments. Please share this video with a friend. Hey, you can get more at controltrends.com, or if you're in need of a valve, you might check out stromquist.com. Okay, that's it. Remember, be bold, stay in control. We'll see you next time.